Kevin, these final two games, these two teams, it's kind of like how the conference has been this season. Ohio State was ranked at one point. Penn State went on a run, and now Penn State's kind of reeling off of that loss, and Ohio State's looking to find their footing too. Do you notice in your scout anything that's different from the way you guys played them the first time to now this late in the season?
Yeah, I think the biggest difference in Ohio State is they've gone small. He's playing as freshmen. The freshmen aren't playing like freshmen anymore. But they really went small against Illinois and made it, switched everything. I think that's the biggest difference where Zed, even though Zed got hurt right before us, everything was down low, down low, down low. Now Bruce Thornton's playing terrific in the pick and roll, and they're just playing small, making them guard you, which is a little bit different than knowing where the ball is going. You really don't know where the ball is going right now. So I think that's the biggest difference.
And with two games on the road, and then you're into tournaments, all neutral site away here from home at Maryland. Do you as a coach, or to the players, compartmentalize like, hey, this portion of our season is done. Now we're away from home the rest of the way out, or is that not really? You just play as it comes to you?
Yeah, I think maybe I should, but I don't. It's still just one game at a time. Yeah.
Coach, as you look back to when you and Grant inherited this roster back in March and April, the steps that Juju has taken from the beginning to now, and you've said you've taken over any other big in the league, what have been some of the biggest things you've worked on with him and some of the biggest improvements you've seen in this game?
I think the biggest thing that was physicality on both ends, learning how to play physical. He fouled a lot, thinking he was playing physical when he was just flailing around as a freshman. I think we've done a really good job of getting him to understand his strengths and weaknesses. And overall, just, I think the other thing was, getting him, he always liked being away from the basket, but getting him comfortable away from the basket where it's not shooting, it's playmaking, it's passing, it's dribble handoffs. We spent a lot of time in the spring and summer really working on that part of his footwork, because when you can work on your perimeter footwork, it automatically goes into the interior. So we spent a lot of time with him on the perimeter trying to get that footwork. And I thought I saw a huge jump from, I thought he started really getting comfortable mid-July, and then September was where I had a lot of confidence in thinking that, he's getting it. His work ethic is really great. And then just learning how to be physical without fouling and being a physical presence.
And these past few games especially, you've been able to, enable some lineups with both him and Pat on the floor. Is that something you've been trying to do throughout the whole year, or is that something that maybe...
Yeah, I think they play together 25% of the time. When Dante's not in, Pat's in. The only time, we went through that 5-game stretch where Pat was hurt. So that's the only time during the season that they hadn't really played together. When I think Pat was hurt Michigan, Rutgers, and in that stretch. We tried Noah at the 4 a little bit to try to give Dante a rest, but for the most part, they've played well together all year.
Coach, back here, how do you translate your home success to the road? You guys so good here, like he said, road the rest of the way. How do you kind of transition all this success onto the road?
Yeah, we played pretty good neutral. We won by 30 against St. Louis and won by 20 against Miami on a neutral court. Lost to 3 by Tennessee. I think we've been playing better on the road. Starting with at Purdue, losing by 3. We had a chance at Wisconsin. We've given ourselves chances. I just think we got to do. I have to do a little better job with this group, towards the end of games on the road, of just getting them to understand a little bit on the road, of being a little bit more patient. We've taken too many quick shots on the road that have really hurt us. And I think at home you can get away with it, obviously a little bit better, but on the road it really hurts you. And I think our tempo on the road hasn't been very good. So I think that's the biggest thing for me, is kind of getting them to understand. I think they've done a pretty good job, because we got up 7 at Nebraska. we've had opportunities. So
What's the difference in the 3-point shooting the last, as of late, last couple games?
I think the biggest thing is our tempo has been so much better defensively. We've gotten teams to take quicker shots. If you look at our KenPom defensive numbers, I think we're second in the country to making teams work to get a shot against us, which is great. That's great for your defensive numbers. Wears you out a little bit. We've been able to get teams to take some quicker shots against us, shorten our defensive possessions. I think it's helped us in tempo, get quicker shots in transition, where you don't have to grind against some big teams. And we haven't had to work so hard, so guys are a little bit fresher going through. It's an interesting stat when you have that. It means you're a good defensive team and you make teams work, which is good, but it also wears you out on the offensive end. Yeah, it is absolutely. I mean, I think this time of year too. I mean, I was just talking with Ed Cooley this morning about just the ups and downs of a season, and just he did the same thing, just staying positive with the team and keeping kids aware of how long of a season basketball is. You're going to go through a 3 or 4 game stretch. Everybody does, and everyone's doing it. That you're just going to struggle. Whether it's Christmas break, starting school again, we're really the only sport that goes a true 2 semesters, and so it's a lot for kids to handle sometimes. At Christmas, we have an extremely long Christmas break here. It's something I've never experienced, and I don't think I handled Christmas break overly well in January. So that's something I've learned to deal with, just because I wasn't used to that much time off. So to be back in the top 25 this time of year, just it's what it's all about, really.
You talked a little bit after the game the other day about wanting to make sure you had fun and enjoyed senior day, and said you sort of paused at times taking in the crowd and the atmosphere at times this season. And I'm wondering if that sort of attitude has sort of filtered down to the players at all, because it seems like one common theme with your team really since the beginning of the season is they seem to have played very loose. They don't seem like they've had a lot of pressure on them, I guess.
I think I've gotten older. I think it's helped. I just every year you kind of learn a little bit more about how my attitude affects their attitude, and my stress puts on them. I love coaching basketball. I love doing what I do, and I just want to make sure that my kids have the same attitude and the same feeling I do. So it's college basketball. We're getting to play in front of 17,000 people. It should be fun.
Seems like it's kind of been a theme where you guys have started out second halves kind of hot this year. What does halftime look like for you and for the team in regards to watching film, talking to the players, et cetera?
It's really the same routine. I let them go in and have about 2 minutes to themselves to kind of just relax, and then we watch the other team's offense against our defense, and we watch the other team's press offense against our defense, and we make adjustments and just make small little changes. We don't change game plans, but we make small little changes to what we're doing. And then at times where we've struggled offensively, we'll watch a few clips offensively. Comes out to be about 6.5 minutes of time in the locker room where I actually get to talk to them. And it's usually 6 minutes of film, 30 seconds of talking, and then get them back out. But the film's big. It just lets them see what they're doing, what we need to change, and but that's just about every halftime.
Still thinking about Sunday and what that must have meant for Dante and Hakeem in particular. Can you put into words what they mean to this program, where it is right now, and to this team?
Yeah, I mean, I think anybody like Hakeem and Dante that have spent 4 years on the program, I think it was 20. They won the Big Ten championship. They've won a championship here. They've kind of seen the highs and lows, and for them to I think they've been very consistent since they've been here. They've been guys that this program could depend on. I just think it just shows you the level of character they are as people, because they've brought it for 4 years, and they've brought it at a very high level. And it just, we are here because of Hakeem and Dante.
With the 3 transfers you brought in that have played a major role in the rotation, I guess, and like guys like Pat and Don and Jameer, is there any, obviously every player is different, is there any common kind of thread you've seen in players that have played in maybe somewhat smaller conferences and either made that jump, or you were able to kind of pick them out and let them shine on the next level?
It's a good question. The real answer is I think you really, really have to study the portal to make sure it makes sense for the guys you're bringing in. The main thing I wanted to do, and I told Dante, Hawk, and Jew this, I wasn't going to bring any, like what I try to do in the portal is not bring any duplication to what we've had. I think, when you bring someone in and you're duplicating someone that's been on your roster for 3 or 4 years, I think that's where you get a lot of trouble. So we're very, very selective in the fact that anybody that we bring in from the portal, A, has to be tremendous character, but B, has to be able to step in, and there really should be no competition from guys that you should be loyal to. And that's really my main way I go about the transfer portal. We're selective. We had a lot of guys that wanted to come that, that would not have made sense with Hakeem, Dante, and Jew. So I think this group gets along very well, and they mesh very well, is because no one came in and was trying to do something that someone here has done for 4 years, or even Jew as a freshman coming in as a sophomore. I think that's the main thing I really look at. I mean, you watch film and you can see if a kid can play or not. But that to me is the most important. I want everyone to have a great college experience. So if you just go out and you recruit a kid for 2 years, you try to develop him for 2, and all of a sudden you bring someone in out of the portal that you haven't done, it usually just doesn't work out.
You've told us during the season you're a man of routine, maybe some superstition from time to time. How different does that look when you're on the road or at a conference tournament or away from here in Maryland than it does what you do before?
Yeah, I haven't found a good routine on the road, I can tell you, I guess. Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I used to be a huge runner when I was on the road, and I can't do it anymore because of my knees. I think that might be an issue. I changed my cufflinks. I have a new tie that I'm bringing.
When you get to the building, is there anything different that you do there than you would do here in College Park?
No, I love this. I mean, not having to travel. I mean, I get to work out all the way up until 2 hours before the game. I love that. It's great. I love being on campus and not having to leave. I've been, before this year, I've been one of the better coaches on the road. Yeah, it's, again, I'll try something new for you. I don't know what I'll do. Our plane's delayed tonight, so maybe leaving really late at night will help us. I don't know. I'll try anything.
Just big picture with this college sports landscape, I believe today is Mark Emmert's last day as NCAA president. When the new, rules and new person comes in, what's the biggest thing you think needs to be, addressed moving forward?
Yeah.
On the spot.
Yeah. Yep. Good talking, everybody.
Yeah, I feel like just intensity, coming out to play, ready to play, traveling, you got like things like tiredness, like guys being more fatigued, we might land late and things like that. But I feel like we just gotta take the energy we have at home and add it to our away performances. Like Coach said, defense travels and things like that. I feel like if we can't get it started offensively, we just get it started defensively, and we can just use that energy to help us all around. It's not really the physical aspect of like working like things that like I'm working on new with them. It's just like coaching, like telling me what to do is more of like the mental side of the game and getting more confidence, gaining more confidence throughout the year. And I feel like since we've been doing the same thing we've been doing for the whole year, but I feel like just confidence is getting higher, just playing with more aggression and things like that. Yeah, definitely. Definitely was shying away from like contact on some plays and leaving a lot of points and stats out there, like rebounding, boxing out, making extra effort plays, diving on the floor. I feel like yeah, that kind of set me back a little bit, but now I feel like I'm comfortable with it. It's still a little bit there, but I don't really can feel it in the game. I can't really feel it in the game. Yeah, I try to use that as fuel. Me and the guys try to use that as fuel and like inspiration because, like as you said, we were like where we were last year. We weren't really looking at any postseason activity other than Big Ten, and I feel like yeah, me and the team use that as like fuel to the fire. I feel like we keep playing like this, we can do great in March. It's definitely higher than now. Saying playing those guys twice. A lot of them guys twice. It's just I know their games a lot. I watch a lot of film. Even after those games, I feel like my confidence is high against those type of guys, and I feel like I play with like any big in the conference. No, not really. I feel like I've amped it up a little bit though. Like my intensity has ramped up a little bit, but not because it's March. Just trying to ramp it up every time I play. I thought